Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news for you from Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, you remember I did a video a while back, and and he was just he was saying what Joshua should do, Anthony Joshua should do in regards to Wilder, and he should come to the U.S. Instead of the U.K. and a lot of other things that he said, and but now there's more news. He said that Anthony Joshua is straight up ducking Deontay Wilder. He made a statement there about 18, 19 hours ago, and he stated that that Anthony Joshua should force Eddie Hearn to make this fight, take destiny in his own hands, and make the fight happen. And he's straight saying he's ducking. He believes that Anthony Joshua is ducking because he spoke with Deontay Wilder in Washington last week, and Deontay Wilder has really told him his side and told him what was up and the problems he was having with Joshua and Hearn of making the fight in the last 3 or 4 months. So based off that, that's why he made his statement that, hey, I think that Anthony Joshua was ducking, and I think that he should force Hearns to make the fight. Now, moving on, I think that Lennox Lewis is entitled to his own opinion. He's a great champion. Matter of fact, he said more. Let me just run down everything else he said. He mentioned and he compared his situation with Riddick Bowe, because Riddick Bowe surely ducked him because Lennox Lewis was the mandatory. I think it was for the WBC at the time, and or if it wasn't, it was one of the belts. He was either the WBC or the IBF, and he basically ducked him. He dropped it in the trash can or a dustpan or whatever. I remember seeing that myself, but again, that's what he compared it to, and he compared Joshua to Riddick Bowe. Okay, and he mentioned him and Oscar De La Hoya were like the pioneers of the guys that took destiny in their own hands, and he advises Anthony Joshua to do the same. Now, that's in a bulk what he said in a nutshell, right? So let me counterpunch this. First off, yeah, he's entitled to his own opinion. Lennox Lewis, if he spoke with Deontay Wilder, right, and Deontay Wilder told him his side, he told him everything that he was going through trying to make the fight, the hurdles he made, the sacrifices he made, to get this fight done, okay? If he spoke to him to make that statement, I think, because I always believe in this, I always believe there's two sides of a story. And of course, there's two sides of this story. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how you slice it, dice it. It doesn't matter who's really ducking who, okay? So it's like, if to make a statement like that, I feel, unless you're already biased or you're already taking sides, I think he should sit down and talk to Anthony Joshua if he wants to be a problem solver in this equation, if that makes sense. Like, because I read the article, okay? And he spoke with Deontay Wilder last week, and he sat down and he spoke with him. And that was the only time he was in Washington. They were accepting that award, the Jack Johnson Pardon Award, right? So, and you've seen other videos with those two guys in it. They're friends. I get that. You know what I'm saying? So he was able to come over here for whatever reason. He was in Washington, sat down with Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder spilled the beans on his side of the negotiation table. Okay, so you're looking at that, you put that in perspective. But he has not came to Anthony Joshua and said, Anthony Joshua, this is what I heard from Deontay Wilder. What's your story? You know what I'm saying? Spill it. That's what I want to hear. Now, had that been included in that article that I read, I would have thought of it a different way. Then he could make a rational conclusion. Okay, This guy says this guy says that. He turns down $50 million. This guy turns down 12.5, then $15 million. You know what I mean? You know, one says I'll fight tomorrow. The other one says, you know what I mean? It's more like, to me, that he listened to one side of the story and said, okay, I believe you and only you, so help you God. You know what I'm saying? And it just doesn't really, it sounds like, okay, Lennox Lewis likes Deontay Wilder. Nothing wrong with that. But it's obviously, you see some favoritism from Lewis in regards to Wilder. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't spoke to Anthony Joshua about nothing. Now, the reason why I'm thinking this is because, why haven't you talked to Anthony Joshua? You know, he's a British fighter. You're British, right? You're a British citizen. So why haven't you reached out to Anthony Joshua in regards to Deontay Wilder? That's almost like, I have a friend of mine, and then he got in a fight with another guy. And then I asked him what happened. He tells me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good, man. You know what I mean? I'm glad you did what you did, or whatever. You want to go get him? Let's go get him. You know, that's what it seems like to me. I'm already picking sides. I haven't asked the other guy. I don't care what the other guy's perspective is, and it seems like that's what's happening here. The reason why is because, okay, Lewis, if you only gonna talk to one person and make a conclusion like that, you know what I mean? Obviously, that's your friend, and you're favoring that guy. You know, he's a product of favoritism in this situation. You know, that's his friend, so he's taking his friend and he made that statement. I get it. You know, but him comparing Joshua to Riddick Bowe, I think that's kind of harsh, and I think that's way off. Let me tell you why. Anthony Joshua is not saying, hey, I don't want to fight Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Riddick Bowe didn't offer Lewis dick, okay? He didn't offer him a contract. He didn't offer any ultimatums. He didn't offer any stipulation. He didn't offer any of that. All he did was, I'm not fighting him because my manager said not to. And you know what? Take this belt. I don't want it no more. Bunk the belt, right? I don't care about the belt. Damn the belt. You know what I mean? I'm not getting in there with Lennox Lewis. I'm not doing that. So it's like, okay, I don't see that. That's a poor comparison. You know what I mean? Because that's like night and day. Anthony Joshua's offered this dude a contract. Well, Eddie Hearn has offered him a contract. The thing that Joshua put his foot in his mouth is because, hey, you give me $50 million, I'll fight tomorrow. You know what I mean? And then the $50 million supposed to came up, and then, you know, the whole thing. I know the story. You know, they wanted proof of funds, and one side says they did, one side say they didn't. You know what I mean? We don't know. We really don't know. You know what I mean? But you shouldn't say that unless that's the case. But, you know, you got a lot of other stuff going on. But I see negotiations. With Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe, there were no negotiations. You know, there was a belt drop in a garbage can. That's all you saw. I saw it myself. You know what I mean? Now, if Anthony Joshua says, you know what, if he pulls a Canelo and says, you know what, I don't want this belt, I'm dropping these belts because I don't want to fight that guy. And Wilder's not a mandatory. This is just a unification. It's not just a unification. It's a unification. So, yeah, you know, and I feel that, you know, if he feels that Anthony Joshua, the last topic I'm going to get to, if he feels that he needs to force Eddie Hearn to make this fight happen with Deontay Wilder, that means that they're going to forfeit a lot of money that they think they're entitled to. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel that that's the case, but if he's talking to anybody, he should be talking to Wilder, because Wilder said out of his own boca, he said, hey, I'll accept these terms. He said that. Well, what happened? What happened? I accept these terms. And then, mind you, way after the fact. Now, it'd be different if, okay, yes and yes, I'll take it. Whatever, yep. You gonna do this? Yep, I'll take it. 15 minutes? Yep, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Give it to me. What's up? I accept the terms. Don't wait 2 or 3 months after accepting the terms. That's the problem I had with Wilder, because it's like, okay, you know, you can't have resistance if you really want to fight. And if you know you're not the money man, so that doesn't make you the A-side man. So you know that you might can go in there. He might go in there and knock Joshua out. But that ain't even the case. If you know you can knock this guy out, why are you resisting? Why are you waiting and thinking about a certain thing that long? You could have said, yeah, I'll take that money. Oh, it's slave wages at first, but now, okay, now I think about it. Is it really slave wages? I think I need to take that fight. You know what I mean? Well, hey guys, I'll take the fight now. But then it's like, okay, you waited to the point where they already started negotiations with somebody else. And then according to your camp, you were going to fight Dominique Brazil. You know what I'm saying? So all these things were in play at the same time. This wasn't just Joshua and Wilder making these, trying to get this one big fight, and that's all it was going to be. Yeah, the fight was on the table. That's the biggest fight you can have at the time, being a heavyweight. But there were other fights in place in case this didn't happen. They're all happening at the same time. So regardless if you're a Wilder fan or a Joshua fan, these things were happening. And then it's a such thing as mandatories. So regardless of a WBA, if they didn't even make that happen, you have to fulfill your mandatories. Look at Triple G. Triple G lost his belt. Why did he lose his belt? He lost, I think, his WBO belt to Deverenchenko. Deverenchenko won it because, he wouldn't satisfy his mandatories, messing around with Canelo Alvarez. That's how he lost his belt. So it's no way he can be the undisputed middleweight champion of the world now, messing with Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? So Anthony Joshua's smart enough. I'm not going to be like that, because you get rid of your mandatories before they become a problem later. You know what I mean? If he keeps dicking around with Anthony Joshua, he's going to end up just like Golovkin. Nobody thinks of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's the truth. That's it in a nutshell, okay? So you have this guy taking care of his mandatories while you figure it out. Now you're in talks of fighting Fury. You know what I mean? So we know Lewis is your friend. You look up to Lewis. He taught you how to jab out in the front of an apartment complex. I seen the video. You know what I mean? He watches over Wilder, and he took a liking to Wilder. That's great. You know what I'm saying? I like that. You know what I mean? Because the older fighter, you know what I mean, the senpai is supposed to take care of the kohai. You know what I'm saying? The senior man is supposed to take care of the junior man. And that's what he's doing. But in this case, you have one junior man, okay? One kohai he doesn't care about, and that's Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? So you look at it like that, it's just favoritism. And, it's an impartial statement that he had. It's like, okay, well, I think that he's ducking because I heard my friend tell me that. And that is that, guys. That's all it is. But anyway, that's my perspective, and that's my take on it. You guys tell me what you think. Please subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.